Joining me now is Norah O'Donnell, the newly named anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. Norah recently met with Dennis Muilenburg, the CEO of Boeing, in his first sit-down major interview since the two deadly crashes of Boeing-built 737 MAX 8 jets. So, Norah, about this interview, did Muilenburg give you any indication of when he thinks the 737 MAX will be in the air again?
He did indeed. It was an extraordinary interview, and Dennis Muilenburg said that he expects that the Boeing 737 will be up in the air by the end of this year, likely sooner. The software enhancement or fix is done. It's been submitted to the FAA, so they're waiting for approval then. And I think in a very significant way, too, we heard the CEO of Boeing, we take responsibility. And for the first time, personally apologize to the families of those 365 people who were killed in those two airline crashes.
So, Norah, I heard you say, that was my next question for you. Did he take responsibility for this? Did he talk any more to you about that MCAS system and the pilot training for that automatic flight control system, and maybe what should have happened or what will happen in the future with that pilot training?
You know, he has not said in the past that mistakes were made. But tonight in our interview, you will hear him talk about that mistakes were made in the implementation of that MCAS system. That's why they're making this software fix. In particular, he said that there are essentially two sensors on the front of the plane. If one of them goes down, then they can engage the MCAS system, which would essentially cause the planes to make that nosedive. That's what happened in both of those crashes. There was some commonality then. There is a light that can go on inside the cockpit that would give the pilot a clue about when there's some disagreement between the two sensors. He says that is going to be fixed. That is going to be standard in that plane. And he said the implementation of that was a mistake that they made in the past, but safety is the most important thing. So I think you hear Boeing now admitting that their communication was not as crisp in the past, that some mistakes were made, the taking of responsibility, and that safety is the #1 issue. And Michelle, just one other thing that Dennis Muilenburg said was that the crashes have damaged the public trust and the confidence in flying. So I think he acknowledges that they've got to really make clear to the public that this plane is safe for everyone, because it affects so many people, jobs where you are in Seattle, but all around the world, because this is the most profitable plane for Boeing, and it's extremely popular.
You know, Norah, did he happen to say anything about these automated systems and computers and maybe pilots losing some of the ability to react in an emergency? Did you go there at all?
Well, we talked generally about whether there needs to be more pilot training. As you know, CBS News had first reported and had the audio of a very contentious meeting between the pilots and a vice president of Boeing after that first Lion Air crash, where the pilots were saying, we didn't even know this MCAS system existed. We need more training. So the Boeing CEO told us, we appreciate that feedback. We're going to make that change. We're going to allow for more training and try and be as helpful as possible. So they clearly have heard some of the criticism about transparency, about credibility. They're taking it in stride, and the Boeing CEO said they're working round the clock at their company to make this fix happen as quickly as possible and to reassure people that these planes are safe, and that Boeing, he said Boeing flies 2 billion passenger flights a year, that all of them are safe, and they want to make sure and let everybody know that the 737 MAX is safe too when it's up in the air. And I asked him, would you put your family on this flight? And he said, yes, absolutely.